Boys, girls, beasts, clones, and even aliens, welcome everybody back to a brand new video, to what I think I might as well start calling the better late than never reviews. Because oh boy, even though it's took me a while to talk about it, we've got a new chapter of Boruto to discuss. So, the question is, however, where do we begin? The climax between Kashin, Koji and Isshiki. I feel like we should start this off by saying a huge well done to this man right here. Just a massive round of applause to you. He has somehow managed to go toe to toe with probably the strongest character that has ever been introduced into the entire Naruto series. With Kashin Koji's big reveal last month being the clone of Jiraiya and all, the writers no longer have any reason to hold back the similarities. And that was the case in this chapter, with Kashin Koji using Jiraiya's arguably two most iconic techniques bar the Rasengan, the lion's mane hair jutsu, and of course Sage Mode. And don't get me wrong, like, that's cool and all, but pause! This one panel right here is massive, as if you paid close attention to the anime, then this is huge. Isshiki knows what Sage Mode is. Let me cast your mind back to the tuning exams. Isshiki saw Mitsuki use his Sage transformation in the anime and said how dangerous that chakra is and that he'd never seen chakra used like that ever before by Otsutsuki. Sage Mode is something they simply do not have. It's a foreign concept to them. And yet, Isshiki knows what it is. And this likely does make sense, as he has inhabited our planet now for over 1,000 years since coming here with Kaguya. Isshiki has seen the rise of shinobi and their ways and the influence that Kaguya has had on the world. He, more than anyone else currently alive right now, probably knows the most. He's basically a walking history book. He has lived history from the beginning of the shinobi era to what it is now. He has been there. So it begs the question, what else does he know? Last month we saw that he knew of Jiraiya, and I presume that this was simply due to Amado being a massive fanboy of his and looking up to him as the star of hope. But maybe that's not the case. Maybe Isshiki does actually know of him due to his fame. This also likely adds a little bit of depth to why Isshiki, or who we presume is Isshiki anyway, wants to bring around the end of the shinobi era in the time skip, as, like I've said already, he has seen it all from the start, including any hidden truths from the past. Remember that history is well and truly written by the winners. But now we've got someone who could potentially uncover that truth. But let's just wait and see for now. Back onto Kashin Koji though. I mentioned in a review a couple of months ago, which is now been taken down by Shueisha. Rest in peace, one of the best videos I ever made. But in that video, I in fact mentioned how Kashin Koji is based on the tale of the Red Boy, or the Boy Sage King from the Chinese novel Journey to the West. And how during a fight versus the Monkey King in that novel, he used inextinguishable flames from fiery mountains called Samadhi Fire. Pretty sure we can all see the references there with Kashin Koji. But eventually in that fight, the Red Boy got immobilized and had his arms rendered useless. And well, what do we have going on here? Exactly that! Some more direct references to the character's origin. And also, one last reference, the spot of blood from Kashin Koji's mask that was left behind. Well, the Red Boy has a red mark of his own in the same place, but I must apologise as I'm not 100% sure exactly what these marks are called. I'm terribly sorry for my ignorance there. Despite all that, the important thing is that Kashin Koji has survived, and this is fantastic news, as I have firmly stood my ground that him and Kawaki are the two best characters in the entire manga, and that killing him off this early would have been a disastrous decision to make, especially before he's even met Naruto. The question is though, where is he? Now, either he will appear back at the Kara base, maybe Delta will regain her consciousness and some developments could happen there, or potentially, and I'm leaning more towards this, that we may not actually see him for a little while. And I say this because when a character miraculously disappears without any trail or clues to their whereabouts, I find they're quite often being kept hidden away for some big badass entrance later on in the story, usually as a last minute saviour to save a main character. I won't name any names from other series because of spoilers of course, but for example the Sand Ninja in the Sasuke retrieval arc. Our squad are on the brink of losing and then BAM! The Sand Village appear from nowhere and save the day in style. I think something like this could be what Kashin Koji's maybe being saved for. Maybe he will pop up at the last second and save Naruto, giving Naruto an emotional, heart-wrenching, one-sided reunion to the closest thing he can really call his sensei. Talking of popping up in front of Naruto though, Isshiki. This man is too good. My honest opinion on Isshiki before this was pretty meh. I didn't necessarily dislike him, but I didn't feel like I had a reason to love him either. I couldn't decide exactly what his character was due to how conservative he seemed to be while masquerading as Jigen. But what was once a fairly placid personality is now one full of savagery and wit. What I'm trying to say in longer terms is that these are my favourite panels in the entire damn series. No joke! They are hilarious, but also actually add a ton of personality to his character. This guy changed his outfit, sipped on a glass of wine, and then rubbed it in how badly he had just beaten Kashin Koji by kneeling beside him and saying, "Sorry, what was that? Couldn't quite hear you." I don't know about you, but this right here is my villain. And he just so happens to have launched his attack. Honestly, when this scene is animated, it's gonna be groundbreaking. This right here is the turning point of Boruto. This is the moment that the series changes forever. I honestly don't know how Konoha wins this. Naruto and Sasuke already struggled versus a heavily handicapped version of Isshiki, and now they've got to go up against a revived Isshiki, an Isshiki with literally nothing to lose. Also, with it being in Konoha, they can't exactly go all out like they could do in Ishiki's dimension. Like, they're now going to be throwing up Susanos and Kurumas right down by Ichiraku Ramen anytime soon. I just seriously can't see a way for them to win this. The only way Isshiki can really be gotten rid of in any sort of way is by having him transfer karma to Kawaki, and then just hoping he decides to lay dormant from then on. I'm telling you right now, okay? These next 3 chapters, you can quote me on this and come back in a few months' time, but these next 3 chapters are going to be unbelievable. Mark it in your calendars, people. Chapter 51. Keep an eye out for chapter 51, because that is where the volume that these set of chapters is going to be ending on. So that is where the magic happens. It's going to be unbelievable. I promise you, okay? The hype does not stop here. In fact, it's only just beginning. One thing I did want to mention is a theory that we've spoken about before on this channel, and that is that we will finally see the Jogan in the manga properly. Because if you think of most of the times that Boruto has awoken the Jogan in the anime, you had the Nue arc, Nue of course being linked to some degree to Kaguya and the Otsutsuki, and then in the fight against Momoshiki Otsutsuki, and then also versus Urashiki Otsutsuki. Do you start to see where I'm coming from here? The eye seems to some way resonate with Otsutsuki members similarly to how Karma does. So I'm almost certain that the Jogan will appear in front of Isshiki. But more importantly, we hopefully will see a little bit more of Momoshiki again, and see what he thinks about the current circumstances with Isshiki. If we do get Momoshiki's thoughts on what is going on right now, it's going to reveal a lot about the future of his character and whether or not he becomes more of a friend or foe. Oh, honestly, it's so exciting right now. Leave a like on this video if you enjoyed this chapter, man. And also check the links in the description to follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and also check out the blog on my website. Leave a comment letting me know your thoughts on this chapter in the comment section down below. I'm going to be having a little look and replying to some of your guys' ideas and thoughts. And subscribe if you're not already to become a member of the Senpai Squad. I'll be seeing you guys in another video very soon. But until then, as always, peace.